Looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10. Have you all found it?
Amen.
You can please stand for God's word. Please stand for the reading of God's word. Mama Wright, you got it?
Yes.
Let's go to work. We're going to stop at verse 52. Mark chapter 10, verse 46.
And they came to Jerusalem,
And they came to Jerusalem.
and as he went out of Jerusalem, he departed in a great I'm on my phone. Don't get it there.
46.
And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples, and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway begging.
Okay, stop. Do you all understand what's going on at this time? Jesus is now, they're coming into Jericho, and it's this blind man by the name of Bartimaeus.
Right.
Call him a beggar. He's sitting on the side of the road, begging. Y'all see people sitting on the side of the road begging every day?
Every day.
I'll keep reading.
And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth.
Stop. It's something when somebody who has an issue knows what to do when Jesus is coming by. When we sometimes, as people of God, can't even open our mouths.
Come on here.
And God has done everything that we have asked him to.
Everything.
But go ahead.
He began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou art the Son of David. Have mercy on me.
Go ahead.
And many charged him that he should hold his peace.
Hey, stop. Have you ever been going through something in your life and you understand that you ain't got nothing left but Jesus?
All right. Come on here.
Kind of like the woman with the issue of blood. All she knew that she didn't have nothing else.
Nothing else.
But she said, if I can just touch. Oh my God, I feel my help right there. If I can just touch the hem of his garment, then I'll be made whole. Kind of like some of us in church we've been going through. We've tried everything, and we know that the last step is Jesus, which should have been the first step. And you come in church, and you yelling, and you praising, and you crying, and you got snot everywhere. And what's the first thing somebody do when they look over at you? Shut up. It don't take all that. But go ahead, Darryl.
And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called.
Yes.
And they called the blind man, saying unto him, Be of good comfort.
Yes.
Rise.
Rise.
He calleth thee.
He calleth thee.
Come on.
Matter of fact, go ahead and read some more.
And he, casting away his garments, rose and came to Jesus.
Yes.
And Jesus answered and said unto him, What thou should I do unto thee?
Go ahead.
The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way. Thy faith has made thee whole. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way.
Okay, you may be seated.
Amen.
Just probably for the next 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure he told you I wasn't going to be long-winded. I'm going to talk to you about, I'm not going to let you set my limits.
Oh, God.
All right.
I'm not going to let you set my limits.
Yes. Come on.
Scoot up close, church, because now I see I got some of you's attention that I didn't have at first. Now, you're sitting here wondering, how did he just say, he see that he has my attention that he didn't have at first? He told you that it would be a very unusual night, which I want to let you know it is.
Come on.
But when you see me, it kind of puts you in the picture of blind Bartimaeus.
Yes, it does. Come on.
Because a lot of people ask the question, as I travel the country by myself, how does he get from one plane to another by himself?
Well.
How is it that he can stay in a hotel and get around by himself with no help?
Oh, God.
Not only that, but they say that with me, I have a disability. It's only a disability when you allow it to be a disability.
Come on.
Now, it's a disability, but I'm not disabled because I know the one that's able. Hold on, let me start 69. Some of y'all are on the short bus. I said I might have a disability, but I'm not disabled because I know the one that is able. And then we have blind Bartimaeus that is in the text, and he's sitting on the side of the road and he's begging. It's three truths that I want to extract from the text that I believe that will be very helpful to you tonight, and I'm going to get on out of your way. The first truth is, a lot of times when you see a person who has a disability, people who are around them seem to be overprotective.
Well.
That's your first truth. Everybody shout overprotective.
Overprotective.
A lot of times when people who have a disability, they have people around them who are overprotective, who does not let that person who has the disability do anything. So what you fail to realize is while you think you're protecting them, you're really harming them. Notice in the text that when blind Bartimaeus begins to cry out Jesus as he's passing by, they begin to tell him, shut up. That's right, baby. They begin to tell him, shut up. What they were doing was they thought that they were protecting him when they were really harming him.
All right.
And this is what you got to be careful of. People who are in your life who, when you are doing things or you fail to have a disability in one area of your life, they always have something to say.
Yes.
Watch this. If you need an example, Peter in the Bible, who was the head of the church, who always had something to say.
All right.
They were walking down the road, and Peter and Jesus says, you know, I have to get out of here. Peter in return turns to Jesus and he says, Jesus, no, you will never die for me. Jesus in return turns to Peter and says, Peter, I think you might be smoking sherm. He says, because this is my responsibility that I must do. And what Jesus does at this moment in time, he turns to Peter and he calls Peter an enemy, but he knows who is operating in Peter at this time. And he says, Satan, get behind me. So now at this time, he's an enemy. But you got to fail to realize, and you have to understand that people in your life who is trying to keep you from reaching your destiny is an enemy. No, I said something in here, and at this moment in time, everybody in the church should have stood up and said that, Prophet, I know that you're right, because there are some situations that you have been through in your life, and you know that God has given you a responsibility, but you know that there are some people in your life that has tried to stop you from getting there, and anybody that has to stop you from getting to your destination is an enemy. But you have to understand that you have a responsibility, and I want you to know tonight that you cannot give your plans over to people in your life for people to run your life, because what God has given to you, that is your responsibility. So what? God might have gave you a man with one tooth and he can't hear that good. That man takes care of you. You don't want for nothing. You're well taken care of. So what if God gave you that woman and she might be bald-headed? That woman got all the money and she got everything that she needs, and that is your responsibility that God has given you. But enemies sometimes can get in the way of you fulfilling your responsibility. So not only, number one, not only do they overprotect, but number two, they try to override your plans. Notice that in this moment, Bartimaeus has a posture. Bartimaeus is standing up and he's crying out, Jesus, Jesus, Son of David. Jesus, Jesus, Son of David. So what are you talking about when you said that they're trying to override his plans, or they're trying to override my plans? Well, in the text, it's pretty clear, because when they tell you to shut up, then that means they're trying to take you from the posture of standing to the posture of sitting. So if Bartimaeus if he listens to them, then at the moment of him standing, he would go to the moment of sitting, which would alter his plans of what God has in his life. But what does Bartimaeus do at the time? He still, even though they tell him to shut up, he still begins to cry out louder. And he still says, Son of David, Son of David, have mercy on me. See, when you have certain people in your life that really don't understand, or really don't even want you to go anywhere anyways, what they try to do is they try to override your plans. Listen, what does that do? That means either one or two things. Either you will either speak up or you will shut up. And this is what I want to tell you in this time and season of your life. You cannot shut up after all the hell that you have been through. Why can you not shut up? Because it's in the text. Notice that Bartimaeus knows that he has been too close, or he is too close to the Son of David, which is Jesus Christ. Now notice that Jesus wasn't there at first, but he's passing by. So Jesus, it must have been that he was crying out for some time. Nobody could help him, but it must have been word that even before Jesus got to where Bartimaeus was, Bartimaeus heard that Jesus was a miracle worker. He heard that Jesus was a deliverer. He heard that if you give it to Jesus, if you turn it over to Jesus, he'll work it out. So when Bartimaeus hears that Jesus is passing by, he says, Son of David, would you have mercy on me? And all alone, while they are telling him to shut up, Bartimaeus knows that I will not let you change my posture. Why will you not let me change your posture? Because like some of you in here, you have been going through hell for too long. And how can you sit there in your seat and you've been going through hell for so long, and you know that the Son of David is passing by? You're too close to the hand of God, and so you can't shut up because you're just one holler, you're just one word from the Son of David giving you miracles. And so Bartimaeus knows that at this time, Jesus is passing by. He's not going to let them override his plans. Neither does he care that they're overprotective. But he knows that in this responsibility, or in this season of my life, I'm not going to let you dictate what God has for me. But my plans are my plans. If this is what God has given to me, then this is what God has given to me. It does not matter what you say, because at the end of the day, if I let you override the plans that God has for me, then there's no telling when I'll ever get a chance to get back into the place where I am now. And this is what I want to tell some of you in here today. You sitting there looking at me crazy, but you have not yet stood up, and you going through hell in your life. And there's some people that's trying to override your plans that ain't really did nothing for you anyways, and they're still in your life. But I just want to tell you tonight, before I move through the third point, you just one holler and you just one word away from your miracle. So not only does he override, not only are they overprotective, and not only do they try to override the plans, but watch this. They try to get you off your purpose. They try to get you off your purpose. In this text, if he would have sat down, what he would have done is by default do what everyone in here tonight is responsible for doing. And that's being a praiser. Amen. You missed it. If he would have sat down and not said anything, then by default, he would have automatically not did what everyone in here tonight is responsible for doing, and that's being a praiser. Praise is just not a response, but it is a responsibility. And you have to understand, until you get to that responsibility, there are some things in your life that is going to stay the same way. What are you talking about, prophet? He understood that even though I see my situation, and even though I know what it looks like at the appointed time, if I holler just one more time, I understand that I'm going to get everything that I asked for. It doesn't matter who's around me, or it doesn't matter what my situation looks like, but I'm not going to dictate, and I'm not going to just give God a response, but it is my due diligence to give God a responsibility, because the Bible declares that God inhabits the praises of his people. So there must be a sound that I must give God in order for him to move. And when I give him that sound, God is going to move. Hold on, DeAndre. I tell you when to come. But listen, you have to understand that they come to get you off of your purpose. Is there anybody's testimony in here tonight that says, I have some people in my life that they just not what they should be, but every time God begins to show up, there's always some negativity said, there's always something good, there's always something said to the point to where I should not do or I should not say. But I just want to let you know that like blind Bartimaeus, you need to get this in your head tonight, that I'm not going to let, it doesn't matter what you say, but I'm not going to let you dictate the limits in my life. I'm not going to let you set limits in my life. If you tell me to shut up, I'm going to holler just a little bit louder. If you tell me to sit down, I think I'm going to jump just a little bit higher. I'm not going to let you set the limits in my life, because I've been going through hell for too long. I've been in this place of loneliness for too long. I've been in a place to where I just felt like I was down to my last dime. I've been in a place to where the doctors couldn't heal me. I've been in a place to where all hell broke loose. Nobody was there. I've been in a place. Can I get somebody to testify tonight that I've been in a place to where it didn't feel good? I've been in a place to where I was ready to throw in the towel. I've been in a place to where I was ready to commit suicide. I've been in a place where I was ready to say to hell with everything. I've been in a place, don't worry, I'll get to you in a minute. I've been in a place to where my marriage was over. I've been in a place to where my friends walked out on me. I've been in a place to where my family didn't understand me. I've been in a place to where church folks talked about me. I've been in a place to where they said it don't take all that. I've been in a place to where I couldn't pay my bills. I've been in a place to where I couldn't do nothing. I've been in a place to where I could never stop crying. I've been in a place where I didn't know what smiling felt like. I've been in a place where I couldn't laugh no more. I've been in a place to where I was going to lose my mind. But I just want to let you know, you need to turn to your sanctified neighbor in this place tonight and tell your neighbor, don't let them set your limits. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's your family. I don't care if it's your kids. You need to tell somebody, I'm not going to let them set my limits. Why are you not going to let them set your limits? Because you're too close to God. You're too close to your breakthrough. You're too close to your miracle. And what blind Bartimaeus understood, he said, if I holler one more time, then God will remove my disability. And if he remove my disability, then I'm going to show you what I'm working with. Is there anybody's testimony in here tonight that says I'm going to holler one more time? Because God told me to holler one more time. Because if I holler one more time, he's going to remove my disability. And I'm going to show you what I'm working with. it. I'm getting ready to take this jacket off, and I'm getting ready to holler one last time. I said, what are you hollering for? Because every time I holler, every time I jump up, every time I turn around, God removes this disability. And sooner or later, I'm going to walk in here, seeing 2020, and I'm going to shout, hallelujah, by and by. Why you going to shout? Because I didn't let them set my limits. I didn't let them set my limits. It didn't matter what it looked like. It didn't matter what the situation looked like. It didn't matter what I was going through. When they told me to shut up, I hollered just a little bit louder. I need everybody in here that's been on your last leg and they came looking for something tonight. I need you to holler. I need you to holler like you are my somebody. And as you holler, God's removing your disability. Listen, come on, DJ Dre, let's get out of here. There was a story about a pilot who was driving the plane, and as they was getting ready to get on the runway for takeoff, all engines were clear. They were clear for takeoff, and so the pilot says, we have a clear ride. There's no turbulence. The ride is going to be smooth. And so everybody was comfortable. They put on their earphones and they was listening to the music. And all of a sudden, 45 minutes into the air, they see this snake crawling up the runway, and they begin to beat on the cabin door. And the pilot is telling them, hold on, we're not at our highest peak yet. They said, do you not care that it's a snake in here? It's gonna kill us if it bites us. The captain said, hold on, I got 3 more minutes till we get to the highest peak, which is 40,000.